Hey everybody. There's a movie, Deja Vu was the name of it. Denzel Washington was in it, and the actress who was married to that white boy singer, I forget his name, tall, tall African American lady or Black American lady. But anyway, at the end of the movie, um, her and Denzel Washington was walking, and he asked, he says, and anybody who's seen this movie know what I'm talking about. He asked her, he said, if there was something you had to tell somebody that was so important, but yet so incredibly hard to believe, would you tell them? Would you try to tell them? And she said, yeah, I think I'd try to tell them. And it kind of went off. And again, you'd have to watch that movie to understand what I'm saying, because it was kind of dealing with some futuristic stuff and some present day stuff all at the same time. Traveling back in time by I think a day or two. But anyway, I mentioned that for a reason. What I have to tell you is kind of like that. It's like I have something so incredibly hard to believe, but at the same time, it's so important to know. I mean, it's incredible because it's it's been so hidden and so covered up, so to speak. And what I like about this is all the facts are there. They ain't like it. I'm gonna say that these people were sloppy in what they was doing, because I don't think that they thought that maybe black people would ever figure this out, But at the same time, what I've learned is we're very ancient people and we're wondrous people. You understand what I'm saying? In fact, what you'll learn over the course of me talking to you on maybe a couple of times a day, a few times a week, I don't know how many times I'm gonna be popping up here. I'm just when it hit me, I'm gonna hit you. You know what I mean? It's gonna be as simple as that. But what I've learned is, you know what? Let me do this. I don't know if y'all ever seen in the museums like in Egypt. There'll be a black king on the throne sitting next to his queen, and she be kind of a reddish color, and he's black and she's kind of reddish. And I've heard Egyptologists say, well, that's kind of representative of like deities. They don't know why she red, and why both of them ain't just black. Well, I believe I have an answer for that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, according to the Webster's Dictionary, 1828, American, the definition of American says is a noun, and this is the year 1828. Noun, a native of American, originally applied to the copper-colored races. This is a copper penny. It's damn near identical to my skin color, a little shiny, but you get the picture. But applied to the copper-colored Aborigines, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So, if you look up the definition of the color of a penny, as a matter of fact, fuck it. Let me just look it up right now while I got y'all on attention. What color is a copper penny? Okay. All right. Copper penny. All right. Searching, and doing more search. All right, I'll just give you what I found. Copper penny. I'm gonna turn this phone around. See if you can see it. Copper penny, red and brown, right? Don't know if you saw that or not, but you can look that up yourself. Now, we've all grew up hearing that the Indians was the red man, right? And in a previous video, I showed you what I just showed you here about the. I looked, we looked up the definition of American in the year 1828. Okay, so the Indian was considered the red man. Well, apparently, the color red that is also brown. You understand what I'm saying? It's kind of a light colored, hard to describe, brown. It's a reddish brown. Is what color you are, what color I am. See, we all varying degrees of just brown, from very light skinned, almost white, to almost still like mahogany, black, sometimes blue black. See, we belong as a collective. We on team black. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody black, color black. You feel what I'm saying? That's who we are. So you belong to a very ancient and a very old race of people. In fact, when I was talking to you about the Egyptians on the thing, and I just showed you the definition, the definition of the color of the penny, it's red. Here's what took place. Our ancestors here in America, North America, South America, Caribbean islands, the technology for pyramid building came from us. There are pyramids in South America that are bigger and older than any pyramid in Africa. That's a geological fact. You can Google that shit right now. You see what I'm saying? But because we think the Indians were these Mongolians that came across the Bering Straits maybe about 10, 12,000 years ago, Johnny come latelys, white people used those minority tribes to replace us. They put those in that box and, oh, these are the Indians. Black people, you're now slaves from Africa, and they did that for legal reasons, and because it made sense to them. And I'm gonna go through all of that. Not in this video because I don't have that kind of time. And again, I got to drip this shit on you. You know what I'm saying? But you'll learn and you'll understand as I understand. Our people are so amazing. They left us clues everywhere, from the Olmec heads in Mexico, those big, huge, boulder-sized heads, to the writings on the pyramids in Egypt. The American continent is actually older, or it rose up out of the primordial waters and started growing vegetation and life on it before Africa. I don't know, maybe a couple of years before, whatever, based on longitude and latitude. This continent is the oldest continent. Matter of fact, what are those elephants with those big old tusks? You watch the movie Ice Age. That was North America. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Watching the movie, I didn't think about North America, South America, but that's really where a lot of those prehistoric animals were here, and they maybe migrated someplace else. But again, you'll learn all of this stuff. I really just came on because that was what popped in my brain. I wanted to kind of drop it on you a little bit. We are so ancient and so... See, people think we just popped up on the scene 6,000 years ago because that makes the Bible legitimate, so to speak. 2,000 years ago, 6,000, I don't really know. But they got bones in the ground that's more than 450,000 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we go back quite a ways. So I'm telling you this so that you can kind of prepare yourself for what you're going to learn, what you're going to hear from me, and then what you can research on your own. None of this stuff I'm telling you is hidden. It's in books. It's in historical documents, eyewitness accounts. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to be afraid of this information, Don't take my word for anything. Do your own research, but do listen to it. And allow yourself time to research it. Now, there's going to be some things you're going to go through. There are 5 stages of grieving. And I wrote them down because I was just, I thought about it because I went through these same 5 stages myself. When something goes against your identity, somebody telling you you ain't who you are, and then the information starts to make sense and it starts to be backed up by facts, and it's like, oh shit, right? It's kind of like if you was stolen at birth and somebody else raised you. You know what I'm saying? And so you don't really know who you is, and you find out you're somebody different. You're gonna go through 5 stages of grief, just like if somebody died. And if you ever lost anybody in your that you loved in your life, you'll understand this. The first phase you'll go through is called denial. This shit ain't real. My mama's still here. You know. Matter of fact, when I went to my mama's funeral, the person in the casket, I said, "That's not my mama. That didn't look like her. Didn't feel like her. My soul, my spirit. It just looked like a fake. Like, what is that? You know, I didn't accept it. I was in denial. The next stage is anger. You know, the stage following that is bargaining. You know, it's like, you know, well, if this is true, then this, or if this, you know, you're trying to figure this out. You know, you want to, you know, back everything up. You want to ask questions. You're bargaining, trying to. It's like, kind of like you holding on to, you grasping at your old reality. You bargaining. The next one is depression. You're gonna be very depressed. You know. And I remember, for me, and this is talking about my mom when my mama passed. I was in Decatur, here in Georgia. It's, you know, place I stayed, a little apartment, and I think I was there by myself, and I was in the kitchen, and at the corner of my eye, you see the entrance to the living room, and it was kind of dark in that area, and I thought I saw somebody walk by, but then I heard my mama's voice. I didn't look, but I heard it, and I heard she says, "I'm okay." And I tell you, at that moment, I just started crying. I just started crying. I cried when she at the funeral because of the emotion and the music and my kinfolks was there, but I didn't cry because I thought she was dead. I hadn't really accepted it. But at this point, when I heard her tell me she was okay, I accepted it. And I think that's when I started the depression was starting to leave up off of me, and I moved into acceptance. So those 5 stages, you're going to deny it, you're going to be angry, you're going to bargain, you're going to be depressed, and then you're going to accept it. All of us go through these stages differently and independently, and you know, ain't something nobody can rush. But what I do want to lend to you is the fact that it's going to happen. And it's something you're going to have to deal with if you really want to know the truth. Now, the human brain being the way that it is, it protects us from pain and all of that. That's why you go through 5 stages of grief. You may hear what I'm saying today and decide to just tune out completely, because to protect yourself, that's what you must do. And you may not pick this up again for months, maybe a year. And that's perfectly fine, because we all got to go through the process as we go through. But anybody who is interested now and can stay the course, do some research as you can, you know, then you'll learn it a little bit quicker and you can make moves a little bit faster. And again, to me, it's important because it's not about me. I'm half 100 now. I'm 51 years old. So I know my time is very limited on this planet. It's about my children and my grandchildren and us coming up, them folks coming up behind them. Soon I'll be an ancestor. You understand what I'm saying? But I want to do what I can do as quickly as possible to touch as many people as possible, so that we can bring justice to the system. You understand what I'm saying? You know. So that being said, I ain't gonna keep you too long. In fact, I'm gonna end this video right now, and you know, I'll be back in touch.